Hey, it's Grady at Twin Creek Audio. Today I have a hybrid mixing demonstration for you. This one has a particular emphasis on parallel effects, parallel compression in particular, although I'm going to do another couple of things in the mix on the console and in the box, with my DAW of choice being Reaper and the console being the Soundcraft Sapphyre 44-channel recording console. I'll also have a rack of analog gear over here that I'm going to be using in different ways with the console, combining things in the box with things in the analog domain in good hybrid mixing fashion. Hopefully this is a good camera angle. So I'm here at the console at the lovely Soundcraft Sapphyre recording console. I've got DAW screens above it. I use the Reaper DAW, and basically I'm sending individual tracks or combinations of tracks from the DAW out of individual audio interface outputs and then to the monitor inputs of the console. Make sure to check out my video on how to set up for hybrid mixing. I've made a couple of those. I'll put links at the end of this video and in the video description to those videos so you can see more about how to set something like this up. So we've got drums, bass, guitars, and vocals. So not that many tracks. It's only 17 different tracks, which is great for this video, so it's easier to demonstrate what I'm doing because I have a lot of things going on here that I'm going to show you today. This is a song from my 13 Channels album, and I used Steven Slate drum samples on this. Steven Slate 4 Platinum, and I think it's just like a really generic Rock Kit 1 or something. I'll put a shot of what that is here on the screen. So I did do a couple of things in the box to some of these drum sounds before I sent them through the console. I put the Softube Tape plugin on the kick and the snare, and that's on the B setting with the saturation kind of cranked up on those. I love what that does to a kick and a snare drum. I did a little more in the box with the snare drum. I duplicated that track, and then I used ReaPitch to tune down the duplicated track version of the snare, but then I gated it to avoid like any bleed or like affecting the ghost notes, which we'll hear when I play a demonstration of that in a moment. So from there I fed both of the snare tracks from the DAW out to the same channel on the console, and then I put the Symetrix 501 compressor on the snare. So you've got the combination of the first drum sample and then a down-pitched version of that that's also gated in the box, both of those being sent to a single channel on the console and compressed with the Symetrix 501 compressor. Now let's solo up the snare track. This is the original track along with the down-pitched version, and both of those are being fed through a channel on the console with the Symetrix 501 compressor on the insert. Parallel compression doesn't matter on the snare track because I'm not feeding that snare track to the parallel compression. Okay, here's the snare again. I'm going to turn the low-pitched version of the snare on and off so you can hear what that sounds like. So that down-tuned snare being added to the original sample snare sounds really cool, makes it really punchy, and then I'm also running that through the Symetrix 501 to get some additional punch to that snare, so it sounds really solid and really good. So here, these small faders on my console are the channel faders, but they can also be used as a post-fader aux send with these XFX buttons, and that's how I'm using this today. So I'm sending kick and toms to bus number 1 and 2. which that's actually over here because this console has a floating bus architecture. I have converted these two channels into bus 1 and 2. I have the ART TCS Twin Compressor system strapped across the inserts of bus 1 and 2, which are right here. Here's all the drums soloed with the parallel compression from the ART TCS. That's really cool. I don't need a whole lot of compression on the kick itself. A, because it's a sample, and B, because I'm feeding a lot of the kick into that compression submix with a kind of fast release. I'm getting the largeness from the kick drum from the parallel compression and not from compression directly on the kick drum itself. I have 2 channels worth of bass guitar on the console, and it's the same track from the DAW. I just sent them to 2 different audio interface outputs so I could do some parallel compression with the bass. So the bass guitar on channel 9 is compressed and the bass guitar on channel 10 is not compressed. So I can vary the amount of compressed bass guitar against the dry bass guitar on these 2 faders. I'm doing a further trick on the bass guitar. I'm actually feeding the compressed version of the bass guitar out of an auxiliary send to a reamp. In this case, it's the Phatronics Reamper. So I'm reamping the bass guitar, running that off an aux send on the console, which is a post fader aux send. So if I pull this fader down, then it's going to pull the aux send down as well. But I'm sending that through the Phatronics Reamper and then through a JHS modified electroharmonic Soul Food pedal, just to add some grit to the mid-range of the bass especially. And I brought that back on this fader over here. So I can blend the overdriven bass over here with these 2 versions of the bass guitar in the mix. So here's the bass guitar. Remember, we've got a compressed version and a non-compressed version, and then we also have some overdrive on that over here, courtesy of an aux send, a reamp, and a JHS modified electroharmonic Soul Food pedal. There are 3 more of these small faders that you can see up here. These are going to subgroups 3 and 4, which are over here. And on 3 and 4, we have the ART dual limiter on the insert of bus 3 and 4, which are over here. So we have these 3 faders, which are doing the same thing. We're using the XFX switches to convert these faders to post fader aux sends, and I'm sending these to a pair of subgroups as well. In this case, it's subgroup 3 and 4, which are now over here due to our floating subgroup architecture. So this is bus 1 and 2 with the ART TCS Twin Compressor. This is buses 3 and 4, and this has the ART dual limiter on its inserts. This is a very distorted guitar track right here, so we're not sending this guitar, which is one of the main tracks in the song. That's not going to that compression submix, but these 3 are. With the subgroup soloed, you can really hear how the ART dual limiter is pulling back some of those more spiky parts of those electric guitar parts that are running through it in the compression submix, which allows me to get those a little bit louder and more present in the mix without it hurting your ears or causing any other problems clashing with anything else. These vocal tracks sound really good. There's really not much to them. They're kind of low vocals anyway. So they're just running through the ART TCS, at least the main vocal, and then one of the background vocals, the octave one. Those are going through the ART TCS Twin Compressor. They're just on the inserts of those vocal tracks individually. And then we've got a little bit of reverb courtesy of the Yamaha Rev 500. That's this blue fader over here. And we're using the long plate 2 preset on the Yamaha Rev 500. It's 2 seconds of reverb time and 15 milliseconds worth of pre-delay. So let's just hear for fun what those vocals sound like through the ART Twin Compressor and the Yamaha Rev 500 reverb.
Drifting, sailing on our way back, set on another one. It's time. Nothing can last this long. What are we waiting for?
Now I'm just going to play through the whole song and probably vary some of these parallel compression levels during this final mix. That was a lot of fun. Now, I'm not saying that mixing through the console, mixing or summing in the analog domain is better than digital. I'm not arguing that at all. I just enjoy mixing this way. I combine elements in the digital domain, in the DAW, with elements in the analog domain. Using all those together effectively I find is a good workflow and a good sound for a lot of the work that I do. But at the very least, I hope you learned something and enjoyed this video. Make sure to check the links in the video description for other videos that relate to this video, as well as links that help support this channel. Also, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the Twin Creek Audio YouTube channel if you have not done so already. Also, click the notification bell icon thingamajiggy if you like to be notified when I upload new content here on this channel. I appreciate everyone out there for watching. I hope you all have an excellent and wonderful day, night, evening, weekend, weekday, hour, minute, second, nanosecond, whatever it is you're having. Have a good one. Thanks for watching.